Hey guys, so I wanted to do a quick video on just how to think about scaling. And so I have this I love small businesses. I love entrepreneurs. I love it when people are trying to grow their business, and I understand the frustration of having too much on your plate and trying to figure out how to outsource everything. So this is an email I'm sending my buddy. And I just want to kind of go through it and just talk about the topics here. So we have a couple of things. So my thinking is that if you want to scale, that we need to focus on you and not really focus on your whole business, right? It's too much to bite off. But if we're to focus on you and you're able to feel like you have control over your business, you're able to feel like you have control over things that you're outsourcing, you're able to understand, but starting with, right, you're able to understand your role and understand what you do and what you don't do, and what you're currently doing and what you shouldn't keep doing if you want to scale. And so I have a list of things that I'm kind of playing with here. All right, so here's the email. Hey man, I was thinking about your business and here's what I'm thinking. We start with you, not your business. Your role needs a job description, and we need a list of things that don't fit into your job description. And so the goal should be, and then here's my little process, is first we find out what doesn't fit your role, how you want to be working, right? How do you want to be working? Maybe some questions are like, what are 3 things that frustrate you? What are 3 things that just really are hard to do in your role? Maybe you're kind of naturally an operations person, but you're doing sales. You don't really like it. Or maybe you're a natural salesperson, you're having to do too much operations and it's just failing. So find out what doesn't fit your role and how you want to be working. Next, find out what to outsource, right? So now that we have your job description, we need a list of things you need to outsource, things that can be outsourced. And then we need to prioritize those items. Like, what's the most important? What's the biggest one? What's the easiest to outsource? Let's start with an easy win, right? Prioritize them, and then tackle them one at a time, not many at a time. Let's tackle them one at a time. Outsourcing should be a thoughtful process. All right. But since you should always be in control of everything, even if you outsource it, you also need to think about the requirements for outsourcing. And so here's the example I gave. Since you should always be in control of what happens in your company, even if you don't have time to actually do it, we make sure to measure it. And so, for instance, if you're doing invoicing and you want to outsource it, you need to know some high-level numbers, like invoices overdue, working capital in the bank, like how much money do I have to work with, and then hours billed versus hours logged, right? You want to understand that, okay, at a high level, even though I can't know how they're doing each part of their role, which would be micromanagement at a certain level, you don't want to do that. You want to be able to measure so that you don't have to do that. And so if you measure the big numbers, like, what do you have to do? This isn't an exhaustive list I have here. It's just kind of like some ideas. What do I have to do? I have to pay my vendors at the end of the month, pay any vendors and employees, pay the bills, basically accounts payable. And I have to know that I'm on track, for next month, and so I can do the same thing next month. So you have these things in your head that you have to figure out. Do I have the cash flow to sustain things? And if you start to find out that you don't, that's when you start to ask more questions. But until that point, you have kind of hey, if everything is staying at this level, then I think we're going to be good. And then at the end of the month, if you find out that you don't quite have that, you don't have everything figured out, then you say, okay, well, what's the number that I need to add then to this report? And then you look at it, and you have to look at it weekly or monthly or whatever. But the point is that you have to be able to report on it so that you can still own it, so you can still manage it, so you can still be responsible for it, and you can find those numbers. So there's a little more to this. Running out of time here in my 5-minute video. Know your role, and then when you outsource stuff, figure out what you need to outsource, and then know how to measure those things. And that's it. Pretty simple.